Hey y'all, it's your legal bestie attorney Symone, and this is another episode of Girl, Is That Legal? Child, today we are going to talk about why lawyer Anthony Ricco left Diddy's legal team and the news that just dropped this weekend that Tony Buzbee has officially been barred from practicing in the Southern District of New York, where all of his cases are currently pending. We're going to talk about what that means for the litigation, and your questions will get answered here. Now, before we hop into that, don't forget you can go to my website, which is SymoneRedwine.com. You can go there and you can scroll down. Ooh, let me show you guys right here. Oh, sorry, on the wrong one. There we go. You can see it. You can scroll down and get my book for only $19.99, which is Background Checks 101, the beginner's guide to discovering who the heck you're really dealing with. And you can also book a consultation with me. Just go here, click book or hire attorney Symone, scroll down, and you can just pick your session. They start at just $149 for 30 minutes. I consult with legal issues going on across America, including issues pertaining to, like, if you've got a public defender and you're like, oh, I don't really feel comfortable with this public defender. I've got some questions. How can you help me with my case? That's me. So we're going to start with, here we are. So the Tony Buzbee debacle. And as you're joining us, come on in and let us know where you're watching us from, and also hit that like button. Here we go. Oh, I got some questions already. Let me check these questions, make sure that they get answered later. It says, so I guess Diddy has the state to worry about now, but if they let Eric Adams' case get dropped, I wonder about Diddy. Yeah, and Eric Adams, it looks like he's screwing that up right now, because it looks like his administration, Eric Adams is a mayor for New York, and Trump instructed the same the same U.S. state attorney for the federal district that is charging Diddy to charge him, Eric Adams, criminally. And that is now getting dropped, at least according to the Trump administration. But Eric Adams' administration is suing the DOJ. So we'll see how that goes, because we know our president can be kind of petty. All right, let's see. Hit that like button, guys. We've already got over 100 in the chat. Thank you guys so much for joining. So I'm going to kind of give you the backstory on what's going on with Tony Buzbee. So what happened with the Tony Buzbee case, and I'm sorry that this is so small. Let's see. But basically what happened in the Tony Buzbee case is there's an order saying that, let me see if I can make this bigger. Gonna make it bigger for you guys. So there's a process that has to take place if you are an attorney that is not licensed in a state, but you want to practice in that state. You have to do a process that's called pro hoc vice. It means for this one case. So the benefit of it for us lawyers is it allows you to practice in a state that you're not licensed in. Now, I started my career practicing in New York. And so these motions, which are called pro hoc vice motions, I literally did them in my sleep. So what this motion does is it gives you permission when you're not licensed in New York to practice in a New York court. I did them in my sleep. I did them all day, every day as a baby lawyer, my first month out of practicing out of law school. So what happened here, though, is Busby didn't do it until much later on in these cases. Well, that's law school 101. That's litigation 101. Someone really dropped the ball there, because what you do, this process should be, you file your petition, your lawsuit against whoever you're filing it, and then you file your request to serve the person. And number 3, you file to get admitted pro hoc vice. It's like the first or second step. It's the first step after filing the lawsuit. I'll put it that way, right? There are other procedural things, but it's the first step after filing the lawsuit. Why is it required that you do it immediately right after you file a lawsuit? Because if the court's answer is no, it gives the client chance to find another lawyer who can be admitted. Now, it's very, very much procedural. It's like I could see how it could be like a foregone conclusion almost for many attorneys, because it's such a simple step. You don't have to think very much of it. Excuse me. But here, I guess Tony Buzbee was so busy filing so many of these different cases against Diddy, he didn't. So what happened was, and I'm going to show you here from the docket. Here it says right here. It says, as the order says, Busby can seek pro hoc vice, and that's what he's doing now. So it says here, because now we're at number 49. That means 48 other things were filed on the docket before he got to this. That's a problem. You can't go against someone like Jay-Z without being admitted in the state. So I'm going to go into what this means for both the current cases that are pending and any new cases. So this is what the court said specifically. It says number 49 was the first motion for Busby to appear at Pro Hac Vice. Literally, it only costs $200 to file it, $200 per case. It says the motion and papers were reviewed by the clerk. The filing is deficient for the following reasons. It's missing your certificate of good standing from the Supreme Court of Texas. It's missing a proposed order. The motion must have a wet signature, so that's procedure. Seeking pro hac vice if using another person's pacer account to file, which it appears they were, and then you refile the motion as a motion to appear pro hac vice. You want to attach the correct signed PDF with the things they're asking for, right? And then he's got 30 days to do that. That was 2/21. But then this happened. Let me see it. Make sure this is the right one. Hold on. But then the court issued another order. Let me go back to it. The court issued another order that said, never mind, you can't, you're not permitted to do this at all in another case. So here's what it says. Specifically, this is dated February 13th. So hold on. The other one was dated like the 22nd. This one says the Committee on Grievances has considered Busby's petition for admission, which was filed January 29th. Yes, correction. So that was the 29th. That was last month. And it said, per the committee's review, even though, so basically he corrected all the initial errors. They were minor. It was submit your certificate of good standing, use a wet signature, not an electronic signature, that stuff. He fixed that. Even after he fixed it, this is what they said. Per the committee's review of the dockets, plural, Mr. Busby has appeared in cases in this court without even seeking admission, meaning they've had hearings. They've had hearings, whether on Zoom, telephonically, or in person. He has shown up at that courthouse, at the federal courthouse, it's the same, you guys, as showing up to a Texas courthouse and not being licensed in Texas, only being licensed in California or New York. Where they do that at? Nowhere ever, sir. It says, per the committee's review of the dockets, Mr. Busby has appeared in cases in this court without seeking admission. Therefore, no, petition denied. And furthermore, here's where they really cut him off by the kneecaps. In the event Mr. Busby moves for pro hoc vice or regular admission in this court in the future, he must attach a copy of this order to the petition, y'all. Lord. What that means is it doesn't say for sure there's going to be a no always going forward, but it does mean you're taking a risk, buckaroo. You're taking a risk because you should have done this in the first place. And here's the thing, y'all. It's a template motion. It's super simple. It requires no thought about it. So it's literally bad lawyering. But here's what it means. And this is the part that we're going to have to stay tuned for. It means, number one, every single client and every case that he already has, he can no longer represent them in court. That's it. He can't represent them anymore. So that means every one of them is now allowed to get another lawyer. It also means he cannot get paid for the work that he's done so far. It doesn't matter that his firm has spent hundreds and thousands of dollars. He can't get paid for that. He can't get reimbursed. It is no different than an unlicensed attorney saying, here, let me send you your bill. Boy, what? There's no state in America that'll make you pay a bill to a lawyer that made you think they had the authority to practice in the state that you needed to file suit in and doesn't. Now, what he did was, in order to file what he filed so far, what he did was he co-counseled with a New York law firm, therefore lawyers that are licensed there. So what's supposed to happen with Pro Hac Vice? So this is also the fault in part of those lawyers he co-counseled with. They are the ones that know New York law, and it is their responsibility to tell him, hey, buddy, before we get to filing all these motions, honey, we need to get your Pro Hac Vice filed. Because here's the thing, it doesn't have to be approved yet. It just needed to be filed. Don't come up in this courthouse after you done filed or responded to 48 different things and be like, oh, yeah, that's right. I need to get permission to go to one of these hearings. Sloppy, sloppy, sloppy. Come on in and hit that like button so that YouTube refers this video to others. So it means every client, if they want to, they can fire him. And if they fire him, they don't have to pay him. Secondly, if not, then they can choose to continue with the firm he co-counseled with. Here's the problem. It also means Busby cannot go to trial for them. Where is my damn gavel? Order in the court. Y'all, that would be like you hiring Johnny Cochran and I show up. I'm great, but I am not who you hired. I am not. This is not what you signed up for. No. Hell no. So what that means is behind the scenes, he can assist with strategy, but nobody cares. Nobody cares. You don't hire him to just be your strategist because he's going to require a huge percentage. He's going to require a huge percentage to even participate in it. But so they can they can choose to go find another law firm. They want to go with, for example, Wigdor. That's the firm that got Cassie her money. They can try to. Now, Wigdor, though, he really only takes cases for people who are employees. They can go to, who does Lil Rod have? Tyrone Blackburn, I guess, if you want to go there. You can go wherever they want. They can pick up their case and they can go wherever they want. But what can't happen is Tony Buzbee cannot take this case to trial unless there is this one nuanced, but it ain't going to work. It's that he could get what's called waived in. He could waive into the state of New York. Here's the problem with that. Waiving in, there's some clear criteria. I pulled it up for you guys. So waiving in is what you do after you've practiced in any other state for at least 5 years. You can file paperwork with the state of New York to become licensed with New York. If he does that, he doesn't need Pro Hac Vice because he will be a fully fledged New York barred attorney. Baby, here's the problem. That process takes 6 months to a year. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody have time for that. In the meantime, his opponents, Diddy's legal team, is going to be papering the law firm that he co-counsels with. See, he co-counseled with that firm likely because they don't have the same strength and pull and the ability to win the cases like Busby believed that he did. In other words, they're like the backup team. You know, like if you're on a basketball team, that's the people that sit on the bench. They're the benchers. If they were that strong of a firm, they could have got these cases on their own, and they couldn't. So if you want the backup squad to be your ammunition against Diddy, well, hey, you surely can. But here's my concern. This is what I'd be concerned about with going with this so-called backup team. The backup team was the team that vetted the young lady that dismissed her Jane Doe case, right? I remember at first, Busby was like, no, we vet fully. Then in one document, he says, well, he relied on his co-counsel law firm to vet them. And then ultimately dismissed the cases because clearly their vetting wasn't that good. You know what isn't that good either? Their ability to follow the basic New York procedures. Because if they had, they would have told him. They would have said, you can't come to this hearing before I get your Pro Hac Vice motion on file. If you do a search of my name listed as an attorney, then you'll see I filed buku ones of those throughout my career. It is like, if I did it my first year, there's not a lot of things that they let first year lawyers do by themselves at, large international firms with mega millions. That was one of them. I say that to say because it's that basic. Yeah, he wouldn't get destroyed if they went to trial. Yeah, it's just a great analogy with the Johnny Cochran. Yeah, if you hire Johnny Cochran and not show up, somebody is like, what? Where is Johnny? Like how these clients are likely saying, where is Busby? Now, not only that, though, but it means now this is impacting all the pending cases. In other words, he's got to pull out of all those cases. His firm's got to pull out of the case. Unless he gets licensed by the state of New York, it's a minimum 6 months because there's a number of steps. Let me read off to you the steps that are required. Let me see if I can put them on the screen. I'm not sure that I can. Yeah, here I can. It says the process for an attorney to be admitted to the state of New York through reciprocity typically takes 6 to 12 months, depending on how quickly the applicant completes the necessary steps and how long it takes the New York bar to process the application. Our governments are slow. It takes them forever. It says 1 to 2 months just for your eligibility verification. You got to verify you meet the requirements, like practicing at least 5 years. Tony Buzbee's been practicing probably longer than I've been alive. Second, you submit your application. You got to gather all the stuff. Okay, that's fine. You can do that. Your good standing, your NPRE scores, law school transfer. He might not even know his NPR score. That may not have had that back when he went to law school. But the next, character and fitness review. Here's the problem. When they review him for New York, they're going to see that he violated New York federal rules with pro hac vice. They could actually say, no, we're not going to give it to you because we know you're just using it to get in these cases you were already barred from for not following the rules. Or they may say, we'll give it to you, but not till next year. Or maybe they'll say something like that. And then finally, there's the swearing in. So adding all this up, 6 months to a year, delays can occur, it says, due to missing documentation, backlogs. Oh, and baby, it is very backlog because there's so many different law schools. Now there's online law schools, et cetera, et cetera. So in other words, Tony Buzbee screwed. He screwed himself. His co-counsel helped screw him. And these clients are now in such a predicament because they've got to decide, do I want to continue with the co-counsel law firm who didn't properly do their job and put us in this situation in the first place by not demanding that or not submitting? Because see, Busby can't submit the documents on his own. Anything when you're not licensed and you're not pro hac in that state, everything to be submitted in that state must be submitted by someone who is licensed by that state. Does that make sense? Therefore, these people have to think, all right, do I want to continue with the law firm that caused this situation in the law in the first place, or do I want to find someone else? Now, if we're going to find someone else, are they going to be as aggressive as Mr. Busby was going to be? Are they going to do all this? And am I going to have to start all over telling my story? And we know if these are true victims, it is so emotionally tolling to do that, and finding the right fit of someone that you trust. Not to mention, it was a huge benefit to these victims to all be with the same attorney because you're able to split case fees. The depositions are going to be similar in a lot of respects. So instead of, if it's 20 of you guys with pending suits, you're going to pay 1/20th of that deposition instead of carrying the whole weight on your own. So there's a lot of Jane Does and Does and Jane and John Does. Oh gosh, hold on. Let me see if I can pull up. What is this one? All right, let me see if I can pull up. I love this page called the Diddy docket. They had a listing. Hold on, let me find it. Let me get it for you. They had a listing. I feel like they put up just this morning of all the Janes and John Doe. Y'all know Beyonce and them are suing A$AP Rocky and them. Y'all, I just found out about it. I got to get up in that later today. And by the way, they're suing them in the Virgin Islands, trying to keep it totally quiet and under seal. It was, hold on, there is a list here. There was a list of all the little Jane. Here we go. The latest in plaintiffs versus Diddy. Here we go. I found it. This thing is huge. Y'all, all of these different. Okay, no. Correction. So it basically, Lord have mercy. All these. Okay, no, these are all people that are suing Diddy. So I'm starting at the top. I'm not going to read them all because it's forever. We got Cassie. Then we had Derek Cardello Smith. That's the guy who's an inmate. He is totally loony freaking toony. It got dismissed with prejudice. We've got a Jane Doe, John Doe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, they've numbered them for us. 20. There's like 40, 54, it looks like. Yeah, 54. Oh, yeah, he's going to be busy. He's going to be busy. Yeah, and the Jane Does are generally the Busby law firm. But yeah, it's quite a bit they got going on there. So I'm going to turn now. We're going to, let me check the questions before we turn to the other one. Which one is the Virgin Islands? You know what? I'm going to get into that lawsuit. Yes. I'm going to get it. Don't worry. I'm going to get into the Beyonce Jay-Z lawsuit. I will get into that by tomorrow for sure. I got to do my due diligence. I just not going to be over here like some influencer just come over here making shit up. Making stuff up. It says Busby got sloppy wanting fame. Yeah, he got sloppy. I think he really trusted his co-counsel to advise him in the right way, and they missed the bar. So there's a ton. I honestly, Fernanda said, I honestly think he's lying about the other law firm vetting her. I believe it. Yeah, he was doing too much, moving too fast. All right, here we go. We're now going to go into Diddy's attorney, Anthony Ricco, withdrawing as counsel. All right, so I'm going to read to you guys from this motion that was just filed late Friday afternoon. So it was clear when you file things on late Friday, it's because you're kind of hoping it would get kind of hidden in the media circuit. All right. Boom. All right. Actually, before we get into that, I'm going to just give you a little bit of the background on Anthony Ricco. Anthony Ricco is a black man, okay? He's an older black man. He's been practicing since 1982. I don't have a picture of him right here, but he looks really cool. He looks like one of my daddy's homeboys. He's done a variety of things. He is a professor at Fordham Law School. And it says over the past 19 years, he served as counsel on approximately 45 different federal death penalty cases. And brought them to verdict. Now, some of his celebrity kind of level cases are that the World Trade Center bombing conspiracy case, U.S. versus Omar Adel, the embassy bombing case that was in 1998, which is U.S. versus Osama bin Laden in 2001 as well. And he was counsel for Detective Snora in the Sean Bell case. So he didn't represent Sean Bell's family on the civil side. He was on the criminal side representing actually one of the detectives in the case, which is People versus Michael Oliver. They were all found not guilty in that case. Some of his other cases he has lost, but to be clear, when you're dealing with death penalty cases, which is one of his specialties, a win is life sentence, because a lot of these, it's like this person did it, and like Osama bin Laden, people like that. Like if you're able to get some of them life sentences, that literally is considered a victory. Here we go. All right, now let's go back to, this is what he filed. Hold on, let me make sure it's got it up. Ooh, hold on. There we go. I'm going to put it up here. Because y'all need to see this. Oop, let me make it bigger. I'm going to be small. Ooh, hold on. All right, so here's the declaration in support of the motion to withdraw. He says, on September 22nd, I was retained by the defendant, Sean Combs, to serve as his counsel. And I've served as his counsel since that time. As a result of being retained, a notice of appearance was filed. This declaration is submitted in support. For the reasons set forth below, this motion for withdrawal is filed so that Sean Combs may move forward with his defense and to commence jury selection and trial without delay. Reasons to be relieved as counsel. Number 3, as a result of discussions with lead counsel Mark Agnifilio, this motion for the withdrawal of counsel is filed, meaning him and Mark had a little chit chat. While I am aware that the local rule requires that an application for withdrawal of counsel is supported and granted only upon showing by affidavit or otherwise of satisfactory reasons for withdrawal, there are sufficient reasons related to the protections afforded by the attorney-client privilege for brevity in my application. In other words, he's saying, I'm not going to go into the details here, Your Honor. But if you want to, you can set up we can do something called an in-camera, meaning just me, you, and the judge, where it's not on the record so no one else needs to know. Because what you never want is for the opponent to find out something that they can use against your client even when you're gone. He says, although I have provided Sean Combs with the high level of legal representation expected by the court, under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs, consistent with the ABA standards for criminal justice. In other words, I'm not about to get up here lying. I'm not about to get up here breaking the law for this child of God. I'm going to keep going. Then we're going to break it all down. This motion for withdrawal of counsel, if granted, will not result in a delay of the present schedule for the commencement of jury trial and selection or the present scheduling. As a result, there's no lapse in representation, as Sean will continue to be represented by 5 other attorneys of record without violating any aspect of the attorney-client privilege or otherwise providing any details whatsoever on the grounds supporting the application. The government has been notified of the filing of the motion to withdraw as counsel. The government takes no position on the motion, meaning they're not objecting to it because it's not going to slow anything down. Wherefore, it is respectfully, but regrettably, he says, requested that the court grant this. Let me tell you something. Hold on, I'm going to put my big face back up here. Let me tell you something. It's only but one reason that this happens. There's only one reason why an attorney in a high-profile case where the client clearly has the funds to pay them would do this. And that is because this legal team is asking him to do some foolishness, some shenanigans that his conscience and his ethical obligation is saying, hell no, ho. Hell no. I'm not doing it. Find somebody else to do it. Now, interestingly, guys, this came just after Mark Agnifilo, who he said is who he consulted and discussed this matter with, decided to file some foolish, goofy motion about how this case is about the government trying to hold a black man down. Were you not on that Cassie video, sir? Kicking that lady, dragging that lady, punching that lady? Seems to me like the only person trying to be held down was Cassie in that video, not you. And I could see how, as an African-American attorney, because remember what happened was Diddy specifically said, I wanted to add, he went in and hired Anthony. I know he interviewed a number of African-American attorneys because he wanted to add an African-American to his legal team. That's what he said. Now, Anthony comes from Harlem. He comes from a similar environment. So I'm sure in part he felt like they could relate. Here's a problem. When you make arguments like this is just about holding a black man down, you lose all the credibility with that judge. Judge can't take you seriously. And the moment you lose credibility, you lose the judge's ear. You can no longer get the benefit of the doubt because you have proven yourself to be a nincompoop. You are a goofball. You are a damn fool. This is about holding the black man down. I'm sorry. In the, 400 plus years of America, when has that argument ever been persuasive? This case is about holding the black man down. Somebody is very stupid here. And I think it might be Mr. Agnifilo or whoever authorized that strategy. I would love to know whether Diddy himself authorized that strategy. He may not have known. There's so much going on, and he's got that little bitty, yes, he is a dweeb. And I know that I'm saying this man's last name wrong, Agnifilo, but I don't care. I don't care. He's real busy. He's not going to watch this video. We'll be all right. We need like 100 more likes. Can y'all hit that like button? But so, in effect, the reason Anthony Ricco has withdrawn from this case is because he has been asked to do things that he believes violate the code of ethics. But let me get back to the exact wording. He referred to he says, quote, I cannot continue to serve as counsel for Sean Combs consistent with the ABA standards for criminal justice. That's the American Bar Association's standards for criminal justice, meaning I can't do what I'm required to do under the law and give him what he wants. Ooh! 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 I can't do what I'm being asked to do and stay in line with the law. I either got to do what they tell me to or operate ethically. Which one? And I'm picking my ethics. Because at the end of the day, Sean Combs ain't going to care nothing about this man's career, his image, the way he's seen as a professor, nothing, nada. And I'm going to say it again. He says, as a result, paragraph 3, as a result of discussions with lead counsel Mark Agnifilio, this motion for withdrawal is filed. In other words, him and Mark haven't agreed. They do not agree on the approach on how to proceed with this case. And he feels like if he follows through with Mark's approach, he's going to violate legal, ethical obligations. Any questions? Any questions? Hit that like. Yeah. HS said that's a mouthful. Do you have anything to add on this? Attorney Esquire? No, exactly. The attorney has morals and too much to lose. It's not worth it. Think of it. Remember the last time an attorney with the law license did what the client said and dismissed their legal and ethical obligations? Rudy Giuliani. He's bankrupt now. He is so broke. He's so broke. He had to go to court to try and save his baseball cards. All because he wanted to be a professional D-slanger for Trump. Sorry, for the president. Absolutely not. Ethics are first. Absolutely. You got to pay those bills. Get somebody else to do it. When I saw that the court is trying to hold a black man down defense. Oh, and here's the thing. You're making that defense, you're making that argument to an Asian judge. He really don't care. He really doesn't care. Like, what? No, you're here because we saw you on camera drag the crap out of Cassie. Hello. So thank you guys for joining us today. I got more for you this week. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already. Share this on Facebook, share this wherever you share material. But this is the real deal on why Diddy's attorney withdrew from the case, as well as the ramifications of Tony Buzbee no longer being able to practice in the Southern District of New York with his prior cases and facing huge scrutiny if he tries to practice in the future. All right, drop your questions below in the comments. I may do a follow-up video and or answer them below. Take care.